Good morning. Welcome back to Planet Doug behind the scenes for Tuesday, April 16th. I'm here in my neighborhood. My hotel is just behind me. Early morning commuting traffic all around me. And a friend of mine, I just got in touch. She has a day off from her work, has some errands to run, and is coming to my neighborhood. And then we're going to combine running her errands with running my errands. Hop in her car, actually, so that's going to be a fun treat for me. I am like a dog, as I've often said in the past. I like nothing better than just to sit in the car and look out the window, whether I'm driving or a passenger. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I think we're going to be heading towards Mid Valley, which is probably my favorite shopping mall here. I recently went to the new Exchange TRX mall, and as amazing as it is, it's a luxury mall, and there isn't a lot for me to do there other than get something to eat, because these luxury malls don't sell the things I need on a daily basis. I like places like Mid Valley because, yeah, they have camera stores, they have gadget stores, they have hardware stores. You can buy cheap sandals, cheap t-shirts, all the things that I need in my life, right? So, yeah, heading to Mid Valley and do some errands there, maybe even buy a new pair of sandals. We'll see if that finally happens. And grab some lunch there, things like that. I'm not entirely sure. So anyway, I'm actually, for some strange reason, I came down here to the Masjid Jamak LRT station. Now, I have no reason to be here except I want to get a coffee from the CoffeeBot. There's the CoffeeBot, and the first time I tried it, I had some difficulties figuring out the ordering system. In particular, I didn't know that you're supposed to press the order button. So this morning, for example, if I have a hot cappuccino, you select it, and then you would have to press the order button before you can go on to the next stage. And I didn't know that. I kept trying to pay over and over without hitting the order button. So that's the key to the whole system. And yeah, it's easy to miss order because it looks the same as back. My brain just sort of went back, forward, and I didn't realize. So I think this button should be bigger, more prominent in terms of the system. But anyway, I'm going to grab a coffee and film myself doing it. The last time I was here, I had to mount my GoPro here on this garbage can, and I think I have to do the same thing. There's nowhere else to put the GoPro. There we go. And I'm going to pay with Touch and Go. So this is all very exciting stuff on Planet Doug. All right. I think I will try their cappuccino hot. And I don't know, you can add more coffee. I don't know if that makes it more expensive. I don't know, but I might as well max out the coffee, right? 100% coffee. Why not have the most coffee you can get? Okay. Milk, I'll leave it the same. No sugar. And now that you've chosen your coffee, now you hit order. And this confused me as well because it says select payment method, and it gives you a big display here of all the different payment methods. But that's not where you select it. That's just to give you information about the payment options. In order to actually pay, you have to use this down here. So I press on, you can do card payment or eWallet. I will do eWallet. It asks you whether you have a member card or voucher code. I do not. There's the amount. And I guess now you flash your QR code. Approved, 6.5 ringgit. Vending in progress. Very exciting. The last time I did this, I ordered an iced coffee, and it actually dispensed ice cubes, which is very interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen a vending machine. Yeah, I guess I have. What am I talking about? But anyway, it seemed quite fancy to me that it would actually dispense ice. Ooh. There it is. The door opens automatically, and it looks very, the way the door opens, it comes from the bottom to the top. Very slow. It's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? A very elegant movement. Ooh, that is hot. So, yeah. Here, you get your lids and sleeves, and you actually, yeah, you need a sleeve because it's too hot to hold on to. So this is the cappuccino with maximum coffee. Good amount of foam. Nice and hot. That's the most important thing. Coffee flavor, not bad. It's not on a level with what you're going to get in a cappuccino at a real boutique-y coffee shop, even a Starbucks or something like that. The coffee flavor isn't at that level, but of course, this coffee is a third of the price of the cappuccino you're going to get at Starbucks, so you have to take that into account, obviously. That's nice. If you're looking for a cup of coffee in the morning, a convenient cup on your way to work, yeah, CoffeeBot, Planet Doug approved. There is a Starbucks here in Masjid Jamek as well, if you wanted to get one there. Yeah, I like this. Very, very nice. And now that I have the system figured out, very proud of myself. I just noticed this very nice touch. Someone was really thinking just to have, I'm a big fan of tables and chairs. And then they have a little platform here so you can put your coffee down here, get your lid, get yourself organized, put your money away, put your phone away. And then just having a place to put things is such a big deal. A lot of businesses, a lot of systems don't anticipate the need for just a little table. They can really be a major convenience. I have my coffee now. I can walk back towards my hotel again. Technical note for today's video, by the way, an important one. I'm shooting in 4K. I'm doing a bit of a 4K test because recently I had the opportunity to try out a used laptop, a secondhand laptop, and the idea was perhaps this kind of laptop would be better than what I'm using now because it might be powerful enough to edit 4K video. So I borrowed this laptop for a couple of days and I shot some 4K video on my GoPro and I tested it out, and no, it was not able to handle 4K video, not even close. You need a pretty powerful machine to do that. And then while I was doing the test, I thought, well, I'll toss this 4K video up onto my MacBook. And to my surprise, it handled it relatively well. And I did some testing when I was down in Port Dickson, and something I realized, which was a surprise to me, is that the 4K video looked much better than the 1080p. And I'm not talking about resolution, that's obvious. 4K video is going to have much higher resolution, more detail. But what I noticed was the color and the skin tones, everything about it was leagues better than the 1080p. And in particular, letting ego slip into your life, I noticed that I looked a lot better because I've noticed in this 1080p video of late, I really look exhausted all the time. Huge, dark bags under my eyes. I look worn out. And to be honest, I am rather fatigued lately. It's just my state these days. I'm tired all the time. But I don't really feel as bad as I look in that 1080p video on a GoPro. And I noticed on the 4K, I just looked better. I looked more as I actually look. In the 1080p video, it really heightened the bags under my eyes, and I don't really look that bad in real life. And the 4K is truer to life. I look more natural in the 4K video. I look better. So anyway, today I'm shooting in 4K, and you can tell me if I'm 10 times more handsome than I was in the 1080p video, or at least looking much fresher, less exhausted. That's my hotel, by the way, J Hostels on Jalan Ampang. And right beside it, as I've often mentioned, is the Embassy of Nepal. Every morning there's anywhere from 20 to 50 men waiting for the, they're busy doing paperwork there. And I've been very curious about that, what they could possibly need to do. And everyone told me that they're there to get a new passport. And that made no sense to me at all, because how could 50 people a day have to come here to get a new passport? I mean, I have to do it once every 5 years or once every 10 years. So what are the chances that a crowd would form every day to get new passports? I could see a crowd forming to get a work visa processed or a residence permit, something like that. But a new passport? That only happens once in a very, very long time. Anyway, makes no sense to me. But I chatted with a couple of guys, and everyone I spoke with said, yeah, we're here to get a new passport. We need to get our passport renewed, which begs the question, how many Nepalese are in Malaysia working? There have to be millions, hundreds of thousands, I guess. I'll have to look up that number. A convenient fence beside the river allows me to mount my GoPro, hands-free operations. So yeah, still enjoying my coffee, hotel behind me. And my other goal that I've set myself recently, it's another vocabulary, grammar, language thing. I set myself the challenge of stopping the habit of saying, you know, all the time. And maybe I've slipped a little bit on that lately, but I think I've managed to reduce the frequency with which I say, you know. I try not to say it, and it's there in the back of my mind. I've got a filter on. But recently I was editing some videos of mine, and I was quite annoyed with myself because throughout the video, I kept saying interesting. Everything was interesting. It's like there was no other adjective in the English language. I think I noticed it in particular when I went to a local museum recently. And I'm looking at all the exhibits, this and that, and everything was interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, look at this Cadillac Fleetwood that the first Prime Minister of Malaysia used to drive. How interesting. Oh, this is what happened when Malaysia gained independence. Isn't that interesting? Everything was interesting. And there were even moments, I think, where I would hesitate. I would stop. I'm trying to describe something and say, look at that, isn't it? And then I end up saying interesting, like there are no other words. Anyway, my new goal is to use other adjectives and stop saying interesting. And in my life as a editor and sometimes writer, I do use a lot of, I used to use books. When I was an editor working in an office, I had a massive library of reference books, actual paper books, dictionaries, thesauruses, grammar guides, everything. I would go to bookstores on the weekend and just scan the shelves looking for any kind of a new reference book that would be useful to me in my work. And I would buy it, pay for it myself. The company didn't pay for any of these, and I just built up quite a library. I don't have that library with me, but of course we have the internet. And one website I use all the time, I keep gravitating towards this one website, because if you look for synonyms online, you can go to all kinds of dictionaries and they will give you synonyms for various words. But I always end up going back to one called Word Hippo. So this morning, I went to Word Hippo. The reason I like Word Hippo, I guess, is it's very simple. It has simplicity in its design, and then it breaks down the meaning of the word quite clearly. because interesting, for example, can be a positive adjective. So if something is interesting, it is good. But you can also use interesting in a negative way. It's like, well, that's interesting. You're implying it's something bad about it. So as you think about any word in any language, of course, it has a dozen different meanings, a dozen different forms of speech. It can be an adjective, it can be a noun, it can be a verb, it can be an adverb. The same word has many forms, and word hippo breaks it down like that. So it'll have one whole category here for interesting as an adjective, meaning holding one's attention. And then it gives you like 200 synonyms. And then if you go down, it might say interesting adjective, but with a negative connotation. And then it gives you 200 synonyms. So it breaks it down very, very clearly. And you can scan the list, find the general meaning that you're looking for, and then find an adjective. So just reading from the very top of interesting, holding one's attention, we have appealing, absorbing, arresting, captivating, compelling, curious, engaging, entertaining, fascinating, impressive, intriguing, provocative, stimulating, striking, affecting, grabbing, enchanting, engrossing, enthralling, gripping, riveting, stirring, thought-provoking, exceptional, exciting, noteworthy, refreshing, attractive, bewitching, breathtaking, charismatic, delightful, electric, electrifying, and on and on and on. 200 of them. So there are many words I could use in place of interesting, and that is my new goal in life. Stop saying interesting, and I know all these words. They're in my brain, so why don't I use them? That's my goal for today. Nothing will be interesting. It will be the least interesting day I've ever had on Planet Doug. Instead, it will be absorbing, arresting, and captivating. Things like that. And this has been my setting, of course, while I've been talking about the word hippo and synonyms. That was my backdrop, and looking in this direction, you've got the AIA building over there, Jekyll Mall, another AIA building. Wow, there's two of them. And that I just learned recently, that tall building with the kind of a crown on the top, that is the May Tower, the Silka May Tower, three-star hotel. I wasn't aware it was a hotel, actually. And the river, Little India over there. Very famous morning mansion tea shop is right over there. A lot of vloggers go there because it has such a great reputation for roti. I often joke that the motto of Planet Doug is always look up. But to be honest, over time, it's becoming less and less of a humorous aside and something very, very real. Because I do try to train myself to always look up, and you see so many interesting things, and maybe it's built into our brains, almost a human psychology, that we've evolved to look at what is right in front of us, because that's where all the dangers and benefits are. If I'm walking around the world, you want to keep your eyes on the ground and eyes at ground level, because that's where good and bad things are coming from. There's no real reason to look up. Our predators don't generally come down at us from the sky, I guess. But in the modern world, you look up and not just glance, but look carefully, such as this apartment building. Look at all of those balconies, everything hanging in the windows. If you had a pair of binoculars, you could dissect all kinds of lives based on the details that you see over there. Very interesting. And in a normal day, you would never actually look up there. And then over here, of course, I never knew that that was the AIA Tower over there, because I never looked up at the top of it. And there, I never saw that sign, the May Tower Hotel. I never saw that up there before. But what really got my attention this time was over here. I've lived in this area for weeks, if not months, over the past couple of years, and I never saw that building before. Look at it. 1930 Eng Chun Hoi Kwan building. So, very interesting, and clearly it was a much smaller building originally, right where it says 1930. That was probably the top of the building. And then at some point they would have added that part on the top. Kuala Lumpur, oh, same thing. Okay, 1998. So that rooftop extension was added in 98. And all of that is so fascinating. And I never noticed it before because I never stopped to look up and pay attention. And you could probably apply that to everything around here. I knew this was a clinic, a medical checkup point. I saw that sign at ground level, but you never really noticed how tall this building is. And this is the Wisma Yayasan Angkoi, something like that. But anyway, always look up. A good rule of thumb in life, I think. As long as you're occasionally looking down, especially if you're wearing deadly sandals so you don't trip over anything and break your neck. Life is complicated enough walking around with a GoPro. Now I have to make it even more precarious by holding a coffee at the same time. So, yeah, my day is about to begin. A captivating day, an arresting day, a fascinating day, but not, absolutely not an interesting one. Never, ever interesting. That word is no longer in my vocabulary. Quickly setting the stage for BTS, hopping on this line, going to Sri Rampai Station, which I've never been to before. So from there, we're going to hop in a car and continue our adventures today. So we're just leaving from Ampang Park, and my mystery companion tells me that we're going to be going above ground now. So we're going to leave the tunnel and emerge back into the real world. And I don't know the last time I came this way on this LRT line. It was a long time ago, so I don't really remember it. Ah, here we are. There we are. We're back in the world. It's always interesting because downtown, of course, you're always underground in the tunnels. And then once you leave the downtown core, you get back to the real world again. Yeah, it's been a long, long time since I've been out here. Another perspective on the skyline of KL. Nice rooftop there. Hammock.
Next station, Datuk Kramat.
I'm trying to remember in the past why I would have come out in this direction. I know I did, but a long time ago. There must have been some kind of a bicycle store, camping store, camera store. Man, that's quite the structure, right? How high these pillars are. Downtown KL, way over there. It's an impressive sight. Brand new LRT station, I think. Never been to here before. And new part of, I don't even know if I'm still in Kuala Lumpur. I'll have to find out in a minute. But technically it's probably not Kuala Lumpur anymore. It's probably another city, satellite city. We'll see. But yeah, I've never been out here before. There's Sri Rampai Station, and it looks like this place is serviced by Go KL buses. The chocolate line, look at that. Huh, chocolate line. I've often thought that the buses should be painted to match the color because they're all green, and yet the name of the line is based on colors. So this is the Go KL chocolate line, as you see. But from a distance, there's no way to tell unless you know where to look for that sign, because they all look the same. But I guess to paint all the GoKL buses different colors would cost a lot of money. But yeah, here we are. So I'm back out here among the giants again. As soon as you step out of Sri Rampai Station, I'm looking around, I see nothing but construction and these giant towers. So the Planet Doug motto, always look up. And this is what you see right even here, way out here. Look at that. On every side of me, I'm surrounded. And where there isn't a building, like over there, cranes are making a building. So eventually, yeah, this is going to be, you're going to be surrounded every single side with one of these monsters. It's crazy. So just for my own information, I think I'm in an area people would probably call Wangsa. I see that name popping up all the time. This is Wangsa Walk, and I saw Wangsa Residence. There's some big hills off in that direction. Everything seems to be called Wangsa, so maybe that's where I am, a part of KL. This is just basically a shopping mall here. Texas Chicken and Lotus over here. Foodle. So yeah, hopping in the car and heading to Mid Valley, I think. We're doing a bit of a tour around some new parts of Malaysia, the outskirts of KL, and here is what I'm told might be the longest quartz ridge in the world, Bukit Tabur, or Bukit Tabor, something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of big quartz ridges all around here. Looks like a really good area for hiking if you want to get very hot and sweaty this humid time of year. Oh, look at that right ahead of us. Yeah, my MC was telling me that this right here is the Klang River. It looks very small, and I was wondering, could it be? I thought maybe just a tributary, but she's saying that no, this is where the Klang River starts, the Sungai Klang, and it's right at the base of that big quartz outcropping up there. It's a good area to get some exercise and go hiking. Interesting. Oh, I have to do something.
We didn't record, is it?
No, I did record, but I'm supposed to stop saying interesting. That was my goal for today.
It's not you know, is it?
Yeah, it's not you know. I'm using interesting way too many times. So
You can see the Sungai Klang sign.
the Sungai Klang is not interesting. It is fascinating, or it is, there it is. There's a sign. Look at that. Sungai Klang. Huh, the Klang River, the source of the Klang. And it's fascinating, it's captivating, it's riveting, it's amazing, but it is definitely not interesting. Not interesting at all. A little BTS trip update. We've driven all the way across KL, seeing KL from a completely different point of view. I look out the window and I recognize buildings and neighborhoods, but I'm so used to the LRT and MRT, I really have no idea where we are, how we got to where we're going. But we've arrived at the Gardens Mall and then the Mid Valley Mall. This is the huge parking area behind us. It's quite an adventure just finding a parking spot. I took a picture of myself with a big help button over there. In case you get lost, you just push the button. Somebody's gonna come rescue you, I guess. And we parked in P2 B69A. It's a very complicated, you have to remember where you are or we're never going to find the car again. So into the Gardens Mall, which is the fancy mall, and you can walk through the Gardens Mall and pop out the other end. You end up at Mid Valley. And finally we'll be at a Planet Doug style shopping mall. Mid Valley is more my kind of place. So into the mall we go. Just as I said, remember where you parked. It's very important. Jumped ahead in time, lunchtime now, and all of my time here at the Mid Valley Mall. I didn't record anything, but had a really good time. Went over every single model of Sony camera, Panasonic camera, Canon camera, Olympus, everything. But it's been so long since I've been in camera stores, computer stores, so I went to all of them here in Mid Valley Mall. Didn't buy anything, just window shopping, but built up an appetite. And we have come to Madame Kwan's, and there you can see the name of the place. I guess Madame Kwan, according to what I read, was famous for perfecting her recipes, trying the same recipe over and over and over again until she got it absolutely right. And I think nasi lemak was her specialty, so that is what I ordered. Here it is, my nasi lemak curry chicken. So yeah, coconut milk rice, and then the sardines, or they're not anchovies. And then yeah, nasi lemak. Sample a little bit of this. Just gonna try the plain rice, because I think my favorite part about nasi lemak is just the coconut milk rice. Very nice. Just sampling the sauce. But isn't nasi lemak supposed to have sambal?
Sambal and peanuts.
Yeah, but I don't.
This is her version.
It's a kind of a different version of nasi lemak without the sambal. Anyway, I'm not going to film myself eating the entire lunch. I just wanted to pose with it just for a minute. My lunch for today, nasi lemak at Madame Kwan's, and then I'm just going to dive in and enjoy it. We better start eating before it gets cold.